Hey everybody, welcome to GMG Review. Today we're taking a look at the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought, maybe one of the most hotly anticipated plastic model kits Games Workshop has put out in a long time. This was a fan favorite in 40K and also in the Horus Heresy for basically being like a tiny little Imperial Knight Titan that the Space Marines had access to. They were built kind of in secret on Terra, and the Martians didn't like them very much because they were, you know, maybe designed to fight Imperial Knights and the bigger, larger automata of the Martian sort of hegemony. So what I have here is the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought with its twin claws. We're gonna crack this sucker open before I get it painted and take a look at the sprues and see, can we build this guy with all his weapons and what sort of the options are. So let's take a look. So here he is, and there's all the frames, along with, of course, we have our instruction booklet, a big old, I think it's an 80mm base, and the now sort of standard decal sheet with the, what is it, the Sons of Horus and the Imperial Fists decals attached. So 4 frames in the box. It looks like we have leg frame, double body frame, and there are a few options here. So we have a couple of the like, sort of like, how would I put this delicately? Crotch pieces, cod pieces, I guess. One that is emblazoned with sort of a laurel and a skull, and the other one that has the Eye of Horus on it. So I guess Loyalist and Traitor, although you could fill these in. I'm kind of bummed there isn't just like a standard Ken doll smooth one. You kind of have to pick your allegiance here. There are 3 chest plates though. You have the sort of Imperial Thunderbolts, like the Crusade era Thunderbolts. You have a sort of chest, I guess that's a banner, like a little like scroll. And then this one's just plain Jane, so just nothing on it right there too. So there's a nice plain one for the chest. There are, it looks like, a couple of fairings. So there's the first fairing for over the head. There is a second one that has some spiky little iron halo-y bits, if you want to do like a character dread maybe. But only one head in 2 sections. It's bisected down the middle, which I'm not, I mean, you're gonna get a mold line there. You have to fill that in probably, but it's just a single sort of like, it almost looks like a Mark 7 head put together. You've got your Volkites and then your heavy flamers on the other frame right here. Oh no, those are smokestacks. They are on the, I saw them a minute ago. Right here, those are the heavy flamers. I'm gonna go with the Volkites. Your twin-linked heavy flamers and twin-linked Volkites and a Phosphex launcher on the top piece there. So it looks like this is designed to be like 3 separate frames that just build the body and the torso, which I mean I would imagine is the case, as they've already you know, spoiled a second version of this with different arms. Now there is an optional foot. There is 2 flat feet on here, but there's also a stepping foot which is slightly bent, which is kind of cool. And it looks like there's a full range of motion because everything's ball socketed. So the feet are all ball socketed, so you can kind of pose them however you want. Along with, it looks like the hips as well, and the knee joints are also fully flexible. It looks like there's a full range of motion there. So nice bit of posability for anyone who's built a forge with one of these. They had a kind of limited range of motion. And then the 4th frame, it looks like it's the hand frame. Now, I skipped through the instructions here, and you can see here, it looks like the mount for both the drill bits and the claw bits are the same. So I don't think you can make 4 and 4. It's looking like, because there's only 2 palms in here, you can only make 1 of each. So I'll probably end up making 1 of each just to be able to use both. It is, however, it looks like socketed up top here. So you could have the hands pop off if you want to make them swappable. You could also have the elbows pop off, but I don't know. See, there's also a cable here that holds it all together. So to make these, like, if you wanted to magnetize these, I'm trying to figure out what the best spot would be, because I thought it would be here in between these 2 pieces, right? You could pop a flat magnet in there. It even looks like it has a certain amount of space. There's a big flat circle in there where they go together. But I'm starting to think maybe I'll do it through the elbow joint instead. It's all gonna depend on where this thing lands. I think it lands on this hand though, because then, it's gonna come down, you know what, I think it's gonna come down to where this attaches together, like what comes on these 3 frames versus what comes on the weapon frames. Because where I wanna magnetize them is gonna be where these dreads are a bit universal, so it'll probably be on these 3 frames here. I haven't decided yet though, but I'm gonna try and make it so I can swap my arms on and off. And if that means I can't put because no matter where I magnetize it, if I magnetize it there at the elbow or here at the shoulder almost, that cable is probably not going on unless I magnetize it as well. So I'm gonna have to take a look and see what the options are when I actually build it to decide if I'm gonna put that cable on or not. Because otherwise I can just put the hands on. And honestly, the cable's probably not the big deal for me because it's maybe optional. And also, you know, if I want to make this guy be able to be posed different ways, it might be a good choice to not do so. So there it is, a brief breakdown of the sprue. I'm gonna come back to this video after I get this guy put together and painted, and you guys can have a look. And here he is, the big fella Umbra, mostly finished. You can see I've built him with one of each of the melee weapons, and they are entirely separate as I was able to magnetize them. So I sunk holes into both elbows, you can see right here, and then made them detachable, which means I can swap either side of them, and hopefully I'll be able to swap them with different weapons in the future. It's relatively easy to do. There is 2 5mm by 1mm sort of like sinks on the inside that you can put in that elbow joint, some flat magnets in, or even just a scrap of metal. You can put in some steel foil if you want, anything that's magnetic. And then I put some rare earth magnets from Magnet Baron into the elbow joints of the close combat weapons themselves. I even added the piping on because it looked relatively good without any like adjustments, even removable and stuff like that. And started with the body and then painted up the arms with some of that lead belcher spray. So I'm pretty happy with it. Both arms, of course, can be taken off for transport and hopefully for swapping sides, so I can put them on either side and fit just fine with the magnets in the elbows to keep them there. So a little bit of like cutting and hacking. Had to use a 4mm magnet and a 4mm drill to put them through, but it was not actually that much work. And now, of course, my Leviathan Dread can walk around with whatever arms he likes. There were also spots, it looked like, to put magnet holes for the flamers and the Volkite, whatchamacallit, calivers that were in there as well. So you could probably magnetize those with a little bit more work. I'm pretty happy just having the arms done, as of course this is a big 270 point chunk of my army. And I want to make them flexible. The Raven Guard only get, if they take a decapitation strike, a single heavy support choice, and I want to make the most of it. So a Leviathan Dread with some flexible options is going to be, I think, a mainstay of armies going forward. I painted up using my usual two-tone method, a little bit of Chaos Black Primer, or Abaddon Black Primer. I gave him an airbrush with some of the Corvus Black, edged with, I think it's Warp Fiend Gray, and I pin highlighted all the recesses with some Neln oil. It's Iron Warrior for all the metallics, a bit of Dwarf Bronze or Warplock Bronze for the casings on the engine and stuff like that. And then Deathcore Green, highlighted up with, I think, Lauren Green? It's like a lighter version of Deathcore Green, basically. Some kind of elfy name, Waywatcher Green or something like that. It's like a fairly drab green. And then Warpstone Glow and a little bit of old Striking Scorpion in the Volkite weapons there on his chest. So we got a look at the Leviathan Siege Dreadnought with his close combat weapons and a little bit of work to magnetize them, but they'll come off and on now, making them limbered up for some hopefully future accessories. So big thanks for watching. I'll see you for more GMG reviews in the future, and big thanks to Workshop for the advanced complimentary copy to review. Till next time, I'm Ash. Happy gaming. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My two kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continue to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Deathcore Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching. It really does help out, and happy gaming.